I'll be telling y'all today about a town in East Texas called Saline, which also means large salt. This city, which grew from a primitive salt works, was established in 1845 and is now the site of one of the largest salt plants in the nation. That is from Office of the Governor, TravelTexas.com, Saline, published in 2015. Today I'm going to tell you of a small town near my hometown that was built on a giant dome of salt and the importance of the town. I've been to Saline many times for high school sports, activities, and just other things like that, and just traveling through. When you go through the town, you wouldn't really think anything special was about it, because it's just a small town with few stoplights and few restaurants. What makes this town unique, though, is what's underneath the town itself, the salt. The reason this town is so important to so many people is because salt is used just about everywhere we go. You see salt in everyone's homes, you see it in all restaurants, and even sometimes when it snows or it's icy, you see salt on the streets to make it less slippery. I'm going to tell you a little more of the uses and the importance of it in everyday life and the production capabilities of salt in Saline, Texas. First of all, I'm going to inform you of the uses of salt and the importance of it in our diets. According to the National Center for Chronic Disease Prevention, www.cdc.gov, published in May 2011, 90% of the sodium we receive is from salt, which is why it is important to have sources of salt that are able to produce salt for households and restaurants and other things. While too much salt could be a bad thing for blood pressure in some people, it is still needed for everyday diet. The sodium helps us retain water, and water is needed to live. Therefore, sodium, which comes from salt, helps strengthen our body. This being true, salt is good for people with normal blood pressure, but not great for ones with higher blood pressure. Secondly, the size and production capabilities is what makes this town what it is. The salt was deposited in the shape of a dome. The dome is 1.5 miles across and 16,000 feet thick. That's over 5 football fields thick. The salt in Saline could supply the world's needs of salt for 20,000 years. This information comes from TravelTexas.com also. Being inside the dome is like being inside a house of salt. The walls are made of salt, the ceiling is made of salt, and everything. Being how big the dome is, all there is to get in the dome is a 5x6 elevator. This elevator transports people, the equipment, and everything. And the equipment used inside the dome is not small enough to just fit in the elevator, so what they have to do is just take every piece of it apart and one by one bring it down the elevator and then reassemble once they get it down into the mine, which takes a lot of labor on itself. The mine in Saline produces 450,000 pounds of salt per year and consists of 207 mine workers. This is according to news reporter Faith Harper in the TylerPaper.com, published May 25th, 2013. The equipment that's down there doesn't rust because there's no water down there. It's just salt and it's all dry. But once the equipment is returned back to the surface, it basically instantly rusts because it hasn't been exposed to water or anything before. Back before they had equipment to use in the mines, they had donkeys. They brought the first donkeys down there, and then they would have babies, and those donkeys never saw the light of day. They were always under the mine. There's a place in the middle of Saline called the Salt Palace Museum, and it's just a whole building made of salt where people can go see the salt and just have samples of it and to like taste or whatever they want to do. People are given the samples of salt to encourage them not to lick the big blocks of salt they have outside. But people still do this. Licking the salt sounds like the most disgusting thing in the world because so many different people have licked in the same spot. The mine in Grand Saline is the second largest salt mine in North America, which shows just how important it is to our country and how much we can use this particular salt mine. As you can see, there's a lot of importance in what looks like just a regular old small town called Grand Saline. From the 1.5 miles of salt to the 450,000 pounds produced every year, this small town is definitely not ordinary. Being the second largest salt mine in North America should definitely stand out to you as it did to me. Like I said, before salt is crucial for the sodium we receive and need in our bodies, and Grand Saline is a huge producer of the salt that we use every day. As you can see, Grand Saline isn't the ordinary small town as it seems, but actually a salt mine that could supply the world for a really long time, which is very out of the ordinary if you ask me.
Well, if you go over